quite adequately. And make sure it be no one but Nicholson, Mrs. Collins. I shall be extremely angry if I hear that you have gone elsewhere.
I assure you I have no intention to, Lady Catherine.
No, indeed, no, indeed. No intention at all.
Well... Your friend appears to be quite a genteel, pretty sort of girl, Mrs. Collins. Her father's estate is entailed on Mr. Collins, I understand.
Yes, ma'am, and I am, believe me.
Do you have brothers and sisters, Miss Bennet?
Yes, ma'am, I am the second of 5 sisters.
Are any of your younger sisters out?
Yes, ma'am, all of them.
All? What? All 5 out at once? The younger ones out before the older are married? Your youngest sisters must be very young.
Yes, ma'am, my youngest is not 16.
Well...
She is full young to be out much in company. But really, ma'am, I think it would be very hard upon younger sisters that they not have their share of society and amusement simply because their elder sisters have not the means or inclination to marry early. Sir William, wouldn't you agree?
Well...
Upon my word, you give your opinion very decidedly for so young a person. Pray, what is your age?
With 3 younger sisters grown up, your ladyship can hardly expect me to own it.
Miss Bennet, you cannot be more than 20, I'm sure. Therefore, there is no need to conceal your age.
I am not 1 and 20.
Mrs. Collins, did I tell you of Lady Betcalf's calling on me yesterday to thank me for sending her Miss Pope? Lady Catherine, said she, you have given me a treasure. Yes. You will never play really well, Miss Bennet, unless you practice more. You may come to Rosings as often as you like and play on the pianoforte in Mrs. Jenkinson's room. She would be in nobody's way in that part of the house.
Thank you, ma'am.
There are few people in England, I suppose, who have more true enjoyment in music than myself, or a better taste. And if I had ever learnt, I should be a true proficient. And so would Anne.
Do you mean to frighten me, Mr. Darcy, by coming in all this state to hear me? But I won't be alarmed. My courage always rises with every attempt to intimidate me.
I know you find great enjoyment in professing opinions which are not your own.
Your cousin would teach you not to believe a word I say, Colonel Fitzwillian. That is ungenerous of him, is it not?
It is indeed, Darcy.
Impolitic, too, for it provokes me to retaliate and say somewhat of his behaviour in Hertfordshire which may shock his relations.
I'm not afraid of you.
What have you to accuse him of? I should dearly like to know how he behaves among strangers.
First time I ever saw Mr. Darcy was at a ball where he danced only 4 dances, though gentlemen were scarce and more than one lady was in want of a partner. I'm sorry to pain you, but so it was.
I can well believe it.
I fear I am ill-qualified to recommend myself to strangers.
Shall we ask him why? Why a man of sense and education who has lived in the world should be ill-qualified to recommend himself to strangers?
I have not that talent which some possess of conversing easily with strangers.
I do not play this instrument so well as I should wish to. But I have always supposed that to be my own fault, because I would not take the trouble of practicing.
You're perfectly right. You've employed your time much better.
No one admitted to the privilege of hearing you could think anything wanting.
We neither of us perform to strangers.
What are you talking of? What are you telling Miss Bennet? I must have my share in the conversation.